come on, little Harry, and takes that little boy by the hand and shakes him up and says, come on from your family. I'm going to put you on the path of extraordinary. Take a bow. Thank you so much. Or if you don't like it, get off. Get off. The same way that I would be told on the stage, if I were to do what they're doing, get off, get out, and come back when you're ready to speak truthfully. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for the lesson you've given me. That lesson was made a mistake. And I think the same things apply to the duo, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. There are some articles that were coming out. I saw some of the other YouTubers talk about it, where the B-list actress is dissatisfied with her Netflix series. She's now throwing Netflix and the director, whom before she had really great things to say about, she's throwing them under the bus the same way that she's thrown everybody else from her life under the bus. She doesn't understand why Netflix story of the two of them, their Netflix story, is getting so much backlash and is making people who used to be supporters of the two of them to open their eyes and be able to realize that they are fake people. Fake versus real. When you are trying to portray yourself, or when a character in a play, in a role, is trying to analyze the script of that particular character to only be finding and searching for what the qualities of that character is, nobody's going to watch that for more than 5 minutes. Because as I said before, we as the audience members are so much smarter than that. And you guys have proven how smart you are by not giving any likes or not making any comments to my latest video, because it was not doing justice. Even though I thought it was going to be doing justice, it was not doing justice to the viewers out there. I looked at it, I'm like, no, they deserve so much more from me. Let me get the video done and try to make it better. Last week of the year, and I don't want to go into the next year feeling like I was inadequate in trying to present a video. Fake versus real. Not fake versus natural. There's a misconception, and I hear so many people talk about, oh, but we want you to be natural in this film. We don't believe those actors because they do not have a natural behavior. Natural behavior is boring. Natural behavior means that you're staying somewhere in the middle of the spectrum of behavior as a human being, so as not to do something bold, which is a risk-taking, and the fear of how that is going to be received is making some people stay in a natural, medium way of behaving. I think the realization from Meghan now that she's saying their story on Netflix, even though the director she was praising before, that she was this director that she was looking up to and she was trusting her in the beginning, now because she sees the response, and now because she has read this article in Politico about her being in the same class of people to be called narcissist, she cannot believe that she wasn't able to fool us. I think that's the takeaway. She's realizing more and more that the more that she reveals her fake story that she wants to present to us, because she's only trying to present the fake story that she believes is going to put her in a light where she's going to be a saint-like, and she's going to be this woman that's filled with compassion, along with her husband, Prince Harry, dismissing the people in her life because they're just ordinary people. They're not extraordinary people like her, because she is imagining herself to be an extraordinary human being, but she's not. So she's trying to dismiss all of those people that have given her so much in her life because she's pretending, she's fake. Guess what? You're not an extraordinary person. You're an ordinary human being like all of us are, with extraordinary capabilities. To be able to raise up to that extraordinary capacity, we have to reveal all of who we are. We have to reveal the inner obstacles and struggles that we have as people in order to be able to overcome them. If you're going to show me a story the way that they did on Netflix, where everything was perfect, everything that it had to do with her and her relationship with her husband, the footage they were able to capture, can you imagine? All of the moments that she actually lived through, all of the experiences that she lived through for the last couple of years since she started this relationship with the prince of the royal family. She wasn't even able to leave herself alone to experience them, to live them, to appreciate them, to be grateful for, because all this time in the back of her mind, she was trying to connive her way into how she's going to exit from those situations, because she thought that she had a better objective in mind. She thought she was better than all of those people, going back to her seeing herself as an extraordinary person, better than all of us on this planet. This is my belief. She thought that she was going to, with a new platform that Prince Harry put her on due to their marriage, she thought she's going to be able to become an A-list actress. I know some of the people out there are saying that, but she really never wanted to be an A-list actress. That wasn't in her plan to do that. I disagree. I don't think that anybody who gets into the career of being an actor does not want to get to the level of Nicole Kidman. I don't think that anybody who gets in the career of acting wants to remain a B-list actor because they have a different plan, which is she wants to become a reality celebrity and she wants to make money. Yes, I agree. She wants to make money. She wants money, 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 money. That shows from her behavior and her plan that that's what she's getting right now. She got the deal with Netflix. She's doing this other Netflix documentary where they can't even do anything more than narrate the story and put themselves in the same group of people with leaders of the world to associate themselves with those people, because they don't have anything of essence. They don't have anything of essence that is going to be presented to the public, where the public is going to receive that and identify with these people, because she's not letting herself be who she is, because she has such a low self-esteem, in my opinion, where everything that she shows to us, to the rest of the world, has to be in a light that she thinks is revealing her as this extraordinary personality, extraordinary character. Well, guess what? If I'm watching an extraordinary character be extraordinary all the time, I don't care about that extraordinary character, because immediately within a couple of minutes into watching such a character in a film, I will have gathered my stuff from the movie theater. I will have gathered myself from the couch where I'm watching that particular character, because it is boring. There's no bold, risk-taking behavior. You're staying on this natural platform. That's why their behavior is so contrived. That's why they can't even talk. They can't even talk. They can't even express themselves when they talk. They're talking like this, and everything is very static. They're not letting themselves express because they're trying to suppress all of the things and the flaws that we would love to see come out of them, so we can relate to them as human beings, not just some facade characters they're trying to pretend to be, which makes them fake. This is so incredible how we're still talking about these people. And I would think, having seen from the show on Netflix, they love to watch everything being said about them. I am not understanding how they don't do the same thing that I'm doing. I looked at my last video. I saw there's not as many likes as the 2 prior videos before the last one. And I started to self-reflect, and I started to question, why aren't people commenting on my last video? I thought it was good enough because I was letting them see my process of how I'm not able to come up with an episode. Why do people not feel the same way about that particular video in comparison? And I realized prior to videos before the last one, I was talking and I was analyzing from the actor's perspective, from the acting teacher's perspective, these characters, Meghan and Harry, where in the last video that's not getting any attention, I was concentrating much more on myself. So I was in a way becoming a narcissist. I was doing exactly what I was blaming them of, because it is so easy for us to fall into that state of, oh, this is going to be loved by everybody because I'm showing them who I am. I'm letting them see what my process is. Well, that's narcissistic on my behalf. But admitting that and realizing that is due to my understanding that our entire life is about learning from people, from the replies, learning from not having replies to a video in my case. With these two, there was an interview, there was an article that came out, and Meghan Markle is so displeased with the way that their story was told on Netflix. Well, why did you have to wait for so many days after the film came out to respond now to the story that you were one of the producer on is not the story that you wanted to be told? It's because of the results. You can't wait until the results of something and then change your mind about it without, again, accepting the responsibility. No, I'm one of the producers on the story that we told on Netflix, the so-called story, because I can't even call it story. Accept responsibility. What you had was not an extraordinary storytelling, but it was a natural. And I use the word natural in a negative way, because if you're just natural, it means that you're very static in one way of behaving when it comes to you and Prince Harry, even in the way that you put on the voice and the way that you speak to people and the way that your laughter happens when you're doing the bowing in front of the Queen, who gave you the opportunity to do whatever you want. She even gave you the opportunity to continue to do acting if you wanted. She took you in, she welcomed you. But all that time, now that I'm thinking back to realizing and to now all of us knowing that their plan was always to get out because they thought they were so much better than everybody else, and they were going to come out and they were going to reveal who they were as these extraordinary human beings who are going to change the world. The world is going to be at their feet and we're going to bow down to them. She didn't even leave herself alone to be able to experience those beautiful moments that she had the opportunity to experience when the Queen gave her those experiences. She was always plotting. She was like this, not even a villain, because if she were a villain, then she would accept her humanity, because we're all villains in different occasions. Smaller actions, bigger actions, we're all with that villainous part of who we are. She wasn't even allowing herself to feel that in her behavior that is so boring. She's not even giving herself the opportunity to have the experiences with the late Queen when she gave her the opportunity to experience, to be, to feel, to live those moments. The whole time her mind was working to, how can I get out of this? Because I have so much more extraordinary being inside myself, and I'm going to come out to the world. And once the world is going to realize what an extraordinary character I am, everybody's going to bow to me, and they're going to stop bowing to the Queen or the rest of the royal family. It's not even delusional. It's stupidity. I think that if you call this delusional, it's almost like you're meriting them with something. Because if anybody is delusional, there's a base to why people are delusional that has to do maybe with mental issues. It has to do with things that I don't even know anything about, because I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm not a medical expert. It's almost like if you call them delusional, like I did, I'm one who called them delusional. Now that I'm thinking back to those videos when I was saying they were delusional, I'm realizing that it was actually too much that I was meriting them with. Their stupidity is so grand. You can call their stupidity to be extraordinary. I'll give them that, but you cannot call them to be extraordinary people. We are all ordinary people trying the best that we can in our lives, to be the best that we can, to make the best of our life, to be caring to the people in our lives. Moments, experiences, we have those opportunities to be extraordinary. Ordinary is already extraordinary. Taking in that understanding, every person, every ordinary person is extraordinary. It doesn't take for you, Meghan, to be able to have that platform that was offered to you because you were conniving enough to know how to make your way into Prince Harry's life, knowing all of his backstory, knowing all of his traumas, and you went and you grabbed him to give yourself a platform that you knew deep down inside that you were never going to attain in your acting career, no matter how much you wanted to. Going back to what I said before, somebody said, well, I don't think that Meghan ever cared about the craft of acting, or I don't think that she ever wanted to be an actress. Or if we go back to the Netflix series, in one of the episodes, one of her people that were talking on their behalf, her supporters, her comrades, talking about propaganda machine, Meghan and Harry, comrades, her people that were talking on their behalf. One of them was saying, oh, Meghan had so much higher wants and desires and objectives. I think she never was satisfied with being an actress. There's no such thing that you're not satisfied with being a great actress, because once you get into this field of acting, you automatically are inclined to get to become the best actress. Because if you want to do all of the things that they so called want to do, and especially her, she wants to be compassionate, she wants to help the world, she wants to shine a light on racism, all of the things that she's talking about, but they have no essence, they have no substance. It's just narration, it's just narrative, it's just words, it's not doing. She could have done all of that if she attained the level of acting some of the great actors have attained. Then through the characters they portray, those characters being completely ordinary with extraordinary moments and extraordinary actions, overcoming inner challenges, overcoming inner obstacles. That's how she could have changed the world. She could have done all of the things that she now talks about. She could have been changing audiences, so when they walk out from the theater, they would be better to realize their humanity, because she, in her acting through the many characters that she never got a chance to do, because she was always considering herself to be extraordinary, so she didn't feel like there's anything that she needed to learn. You have to allow yourself to learn. You have to allow yourself to say, I've made a mistake. How can I do better next time? The saying, I'm going to paraphrase the saying, fail. It's okay to fail. The failures one has, if you allow them, if you are admitting to them, if you are analyzing them and try to improve, when you do something the next time and you keep on doing and you keep on doing and you don't give up, the failing is going to be better. Try to fail a little bit better. It's okay to fail, but she's never admitting to her failures. She's not even admitting to the failure that she was never an actress. So I am sorry, but I do disagree with the people who say she never wanted to. She didn't care about being an actress. She was so much bigger than being an actress. That's, again, one of those, instead of accepting, yes, that's what I wanted to do, but I never made it. I never wanted to do that because I had so much bigger plans. What were the bigger plans? What were the bigger plans that you had? The bigger plans were that you are going to put everybody down, your family, your side of the family, the royals, everybody else. And now, supposedly, she's putting down the director, I don't know her name, who directed their Netflix mockumentary, whom she said she had respect for when she thought the show was going to come out and everybody was going to bow down to their extraordinary beings. Why did you not say from the beginning to her, okay, I don't like the way the story is being told because you provided most of the footage that had to do with personal lives, with your personal life and with the personal life of Prince Harry. If you provided all of the footage, you, as one of the producers, Archwell production company was one of the producers on it, I believe. Why did you not say to that director? Because you have the opportunity. If you have enough creativity and if you consider yourself to have essence, you could have said to her during the putting together of the Netflix series to say, listen, I don't think that this is going in the direction that I want, Harry and I want to be portrayed in. This is not, we are not just people who put other people down. But you didn't say that because you don't have that understanding. You didn't say that because you thought that you were facade of a human being. You in your head, your extraordinary being, and Harry, who's just coming along for the ride because he's always felt like he doesn't have a role in this world. And now somebody comes in and grabs him like she did and says, guess what? We are extraordinary people. And he goes, what? I didn't know I was extraordinary. Nobody says that I was extraordinary. I thought that my brother, Prince William, is extraordinary, and Princess Catherine is extraordinary, and my grandmother, the Queen, and my father, and all of those people are extraordinary because that's what my impression was. Even they accepted to faults, even they accepted to wrongdoings, to making mistakes in their lives, because nobody's perfect. But she came with this lie. She fed it to Prince Harry, took him by the hand, took the little child, because he's still that little hurt child with the wound from his mother's death that is so profound and so sad as is. And then to have somebody come and grab that little child, that's what I would imagine as an actor. If I were working with somebody on these two characters, I would say, go back in time when you were hunting Prince Harry down. I want you to imagine all of the things that you have done and all of the things that you have put in his mind. I want you to imagine, would you have been able to do the same thing if we were to do an acting exercise where you, the adult Meghan, would have imagined Prince Harry as the little boy who was walking behind the coffin of Princess Diana, his mother, who died at such a young age? Imagine grabbing that little boy's hand and feeding him all of the nonsense that you are feeding the adult Prince Harry. We are capable of doing that in acting. Do you know how many times I'm sitting and I'm beating myself down for something that I've done wrong? I'm beating myself down, and then my thoughts of negativity about myself start to creep in. And it's okay to have that, because that's how you learn to do better. That's how you learn to grow. The one thing is, though, you don't want those thoughts to continue for a long time. You don't want to go on beating yourself down for something that you've done So in order not to do that, the exercise in acting is find a picture of yourself from a very young age, from the age when you were a baby, the age you were 5 years old. Find a picture, take the picture. I have such a picture next to my bed in my drawer. You look at that picture and you try to speak out, to give voice to all those negative thoughts you're putting on yourself as the adult. And you know what happens? If you take the picture and if you look at it, now I'm just imagining because I have it somewhere in my drawer, but if I look at that little child of the picture that I have when I was about 3 months old, back in Romania, having been raised by my grandmother, whom, oh, I can't even go into that because I'm going to start going into an emotional stuff and I don't want to do that. But if I look at that picture of myself and I start to say, you are inadequate. You, Mihaela, were not good enough. You. And then if I raise my hand just to make the gesture without actually continuing the action of doing it, but if you just attempt the gesture of, would I be able to slap the little child down? Because that's the physical equal to what we're doing to ourselves when we are allowing the negative thoughts to be placed on us due to something that we're not satisfied with. It doesn't mean that you don't have the realization that you can do better next time in something, in anything. But if you continue to have the negativity on yourself and about yourself, it's as if you're taking the picture of the little girl or the little boy inside of you, even knowing that's just a picture with a frame. And if you go to that picture and you raise your hand and you want to slap that picture, you're not going to be able to do it. Acting, that's a known acting exercise. So when people say that she's acting her way through, she's an actress, she wanted to do bigger things. No, she never wanted to be a B-list actress in one series, in one cable series. Of course, she wanted to be an A-list actor, but she couldn't come to that, no matter the help that she got from her father being in the business. I mean, she had that. Who wouldn't want to have such an into this entertainment business, which is already difficult enough for anybody who doesn't have anybody in it? And she had that in, and she couldn't even do it with that, because from the very first beginning, she never thought that she needed to improve. She never thought that she needed to sit back, look at some of the actions that she's done, admit her faults, and then try to do it better. Now she doesn't understand why she was put in the same category of narcissist with people like Trump. I'm just mentioning Trump because she's the one that never wanted to welcome Trump when he was the president and he went to visit the Queen. She didn't want anything to do with that because she was so much better than Trump, because Trump was talking propaganda and Trump was fake and she wasn't. As an actor, you have to be able to have dialogue, and you have to be able to put yourself in situations that you might not consider to be the best situations. You have to have dialogue with people, with characters whom you might think are not as good as you are. You can think that as long as you want, but then you have to become a better person by putting yourself in those difficult situations if you consider them to be difficult, as in the case of, I cannot be in the presence of Donald Trump because I'm so much better than Donald Trump. Well, go and see what it takes for you to be able to use a different part of your brain as an adult, to be able to have a dialogue, because guess what? Maybe you would have changed something in that person that you don't consider to be at your level of extraordinary. That's overcoming obstacles, inner obstacles. It's not about just trying to live a natural life. Everything is already finished. Everything is all set. I'm already at where I want to be. I've got the platform. Yeah, these are the outer appearances. But inside, no matter how much we learn and no matter how much we grow, there's always going to be room for more. Because if you consider, like she does, that she's done learning and she knows it all because she's already attained the extraordinary self, there's nowhere else to go. That's when stupidity takes over. That's what's going on. It's stupidity. It's not even delusional. You don't like the way that your story was being told by this director? Why didn't you take the reins with your extraordinary talent and veer it, conducted in a way that you thought it would be presented to show your essence, substance? You didn't do that because there's none of that. You don't even know that's lacking. Your facade is so well kept without blinking. In your voice, the way you speak, when you want to portray to us perfect human being, by dragging this little Harry, dragging, now I can't get that image out of my head. Imagine, I'm just imagining, I'm looking this way because I'm imagining the little boy Harry, the same one that was walking again behind his mother's coffin. And I'm imagining this planner. I'm gonna take you, let me shake you up a little bit and get you to believe that everything that's surrounding you, all your family members who have been there for you, all the privilege that you've had being born into the royal family, those are nothing. You deserve so much more, little Harry. Give me your hand. Dragging him. That would have been nice. Wouldn't that be a nice image in the docu-series? At least he would have turned that into something that would have made us all gasp. We would have been like, oh my God, she's revealing the truth about the inner depth. Now she's talking about the superficial stuff, the outside stuff. Why not go and allow your imagination to come into, to inject this boring 6-hour thing that you did? And you did it, knowing how you are from everything that you've shown us so far. If you were not pleased with the way the story was told, you would have stopped it. If you are considered by all of your supporters and all of your fans to stand up for what you believe in, to stand up against the royal family for all of these alleged, unproven allegations, you did not know to stand up to this director and say, listen, this is not the direction that I want our story to go in, because that's not who we are. You didn't do that. So you can come after everything is done and realize the more people see of you and of your poor husband, they start to realize you are fake. I think the supporters are so taken aback. They're so surprised by it. And they're coming to defend her due to the fact that they do not want to admit they were lied to. It's almost like you don't want to be admitting to something that it's actually happening in front of your eyes. And then you have to come up with more lies to defend the person. You cannot admit this fairy tale that she was trying to portray herself to be in was all into plan from the very moment that she was able to put her claws on this little boy, Harry. I know that sounds crazy, but you know what? The docu-series was crazy. So the images that we were left with, that was hard to watch. That's extraordinary. What would have been extraordinary was for you to grab your husband, H, again, I go back to the name because I think she calls him H, as in the royal titles, HRH, and she wants to stick with that H, the first letter of the royal HRH, because it was taken away from him. Her narrow understanding because a very long time ago, she decided that she knows it all. When somebody decides there's no more room to grow, the story is over. Thank God that we know there's always learning to be done in our ordinary, extraordinary life, because that means our story is not over. It means that we're not dead. Yeah, that image, I can't get that image out of my head with Prince Harry and her holding his hand. Can you imagine that if it was done in one of the workshops in a session in acting? I've seen those moments. I've worked on those moments with so many actors over the years. The power and the transformation that takes place in the way the adult actors, after having that conversation with the younger self, with the inner child, is so profound. There's so many emotions that come out of those actors when actually applying that as an exercise in their work. That will make you be humble, reveal that we are still having to take care of those little beings inside of ourselves we were once, because they still reside within us. You can't just separate the childhood or the child and say, now I'm an adult. Can you just apologize? Can you just apologize to the inner Meghan, that little version of Meghan Markle? Can you apologize to her? Because everything that you're doing right now and you think is so righteous, and you have no apology to anybody because you haven't done anything wrong, but everybody has to apologize to you, from the royals to your side of the family to the Netflix now to the Politico article. Instead of that, can you apologize to that little girl inside of you? Write a letter to her. Write a letter to her and just tell her in the letter all of the things that you, the adult version, Meghan, has been doing. Do that and see how that's going to make you feel. That's another exercise that you can try. And that's going to make you reveal to yourself. Maybe you will have a moment, a second, where you will accept some responsibility for who you are as an adult. Sometimes the little girl, the little boy, has to take us, the adults, and guide us to do the right thing. Because we as adults get so much into blaming people. Our ego takes over, our ambition takes over. And if we stop and if we pay attention to that inner child for one moment, we look at a picture of that little child, then with the picture in front of you, start to write a letter. I've seen it done in so many other scenarios. Oh, what would you say to your younger version? Oh, what would you say? But really do that. Like, take that moment and see if you can write down a letter. Write it to your little Meghan and tell her the extraordinary things that you've been doing, and give yourself a moment to imagine her response. What would it be? And then write a letter to that little boy, Harry. That would be something. That would have been something that we would have all been probably watching and saying, oh my God, that took guts. Confess truthfully, it is so fake that it's impossible to do, because those little innocent versions of who we are will look you right back through the photos that you have, and seeing the innocence, they will probably spark a moment of emotional truth. But no, let's present it this way. Let's present it this way. Oh, it's going to be great. We're going to be applauded. Bravo. And then when the applause doesn't come, stop being so concerned about, and let the little girl lead you. How can you not think back? How can you not, before you go to sleep and you put your head on the pillow at night, when you close your eyes and you're just between falling asleep, everybody has those moments of clarity when we're kind of reviewing what the day was like, what we did, And then we kind of gather our thoughts, we fall asleep, and the next morning you get up and you try to do better. But with these two, it's stupidity. Any character that would portray themselves, these two characters, would not be allowed in front of an audience, would not be considered to be at a level they would be worthy of sharing their fictional stories with the public. You have to earn to share with the public. They don't have to earn it because the platform was given to them. And now what are they doing with the platform? They're getting on it, and instead of themselves bowing with grace and appreciation, they're stomping on it. They're stomping on it, but they don't want to get off. If you do not like the platform, get off of it. Take a bow, curtsy, the same way that we saw you curtsy in suit. Take a bow. You knew how to do it. It's nothing extraordinary. It's an ordinary, traditional recognition of someone else, of something else. If not, don't come back. Thank you. Happy New Year.